What is up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys are having yourselves a great weekend so far. We are here to talk about episode 5 of Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2, titled, if I said it right, Fusato, if I pronounced it correct. So, this episode picks up after episode 4, obviously, where we kind of got more personal drama stuff going on. So a lot happens at the end of the episode. So we got to pick up with a opening of a younger Horatio talking to a much younger Kate. Obviously, he is in Tokyo for the birth of Kintaro. Now, his I guess wife at the time in Tokyo wanted to name him Bill after Bill Randa, but obviously, you know, Hiroshi says Bill was my stepfather. My real father's name was Kintaro. And it picks up from there with Hiroshi holding the letter from Lee Shaw, Keiko seeing it, and obviously Horatio is very much not happy. He's very angry about it. Storms off. Keiko tries to talk to him. Doesn't go well. It does not go well. And she Keiko's trying to explain, like, she loved Bill, she chose to be with Bill, but obviously with the letter it's just kind of like, yeah, maybe not your whole heart was there or something like that. We do get a conversation with Lee and Horatio where Lee basically says the same thing. Basically says it's like, if anybody could understand the position your mother was in, it's you. Because again, Horatio is basically was in that same situation with Kate's mother and Kentaro's mother. So if anybody can knows what it's like to love two different people, it should be Hiroshi. And Shaw tells him, like, you just got your mother back. Do you really want to push her away? Now, they are currently on their way to Soledad in South America because of the migration pattern of Bill Randa's research of Titan X. They woke up. Now it was supposed to be like every 15 years, I believe, is what he said, because if they did not activate the portal of Skull Island and release Titan X early, Titan X wasn't supposed to arrive until 2023. But because they kind of sped up his schedule, and obviously he's going to stick to his migration pattern, it's going to get to or to Soledad, do everything like it normally does. So they have to get to Soledad because Apex Cybernetics, what we learned in last week's episode was they are basically trying to control Titans, and they need Korra's code to run the program to control the Titans. And meanwhile that's going on, you got Tim on with Monarch basically arguing with director Barris about Apex Cybernetics and everything. And he's kind of like, Barris is kind of like, well, Apex thinks Titan X is heading to the Bering Sea, so you should be chasing after it. And Tim is like, the last time Apex told us we were following Titan X, we were following a whale halfway across the Pacific Ocean. Obviously, he does not trust these guys. He trusts his source, which Barris is like, is your source Colonel Shaw? And Barris does go out on a limb, and he trusts Tim with this plan. So now Monarch is on their way to Soledad as well. So everybody is converging on Soledad. Meanwhile, they're talking about on the plane. Still the no talking with Keiko and Hiroshi, and Kate talks about how when she was in San Francisco, she felt like the ocean was singing to her, like the vibration that I've talked about in the past couple of episodes. I thought Keiko would have something to do with that too, but it doesn't seem like it because Keiko had the same kind of feeling as well when they first encountered Titan X. So I'm surprised that's not happening with both of them. Is maybe it's something that's passed down or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll get an explanation in within the next couple of episodes. But and then you have let me see. Sorry. Um, and so basically, what they come to learn is like obviously they're trying to control the Titan. Why would they do that? And well, Takora is basically like so they actually I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. So they arrive in Soledad. Each team is Korra is currently working on getting the program up to speed because she needs a little bit more time. There's too many factors and things like that. They're gonna launch a drone with a projectile attached to it at Titan X, and then meanwhile, uh, Apex gets word that you know Shaw and Keiko's boat was spotted in the cove a few clicks away. Miranda talks about like make sure they don't interfere. I felt like they were going to like send a team after them, but they didn't do that. So that was kind of like that's kind of a pointless thing to say. Then if you're not, 'cause I thought they were like send a fire team or like a security team to go capture them or or slow them down, but that wasn't the case. Um, and so they Keiko and Shaw have a conversation. Why did you keep that letter? And Lee's like, that's all. That's basically the only thing I had left of you. And you know, he would take it out to remind himself of you. Talk about how like he should have fought, fought harder for you, or just more interpersonal conversation and stuff like that. And you got Kentaro and Kate doing the same thing. So just a lot more personal conversations. Meanwhile, with Apex, as they're making their way to Soledad, Titan X comes up right behind them and just passes on by him. Like it goes underneath the ship. Luckily, the ship wasn't damaged or hurt, or anybody was hurt. But they realize they're not going to make it in time for Shaw, and so they're going to let him know the situation. So Titan X is making its way to Soledad. Everybody gets in their position. Apex get in their position, and then um, Shaw and them and the team get in their position. And so what their plan is, they're going to try to jam the rotors of the drone to where it can't launch. Meanwhile, we get the scarabs start to emerge out of the mountain, like kind of what we saw in the earlier episode with Keiko and Shaw in 1970. Or was it 67? I think it was 60. Maybe it was 67. Anyway, but beside the point. Um, doesn't go as planned. The drone gets off, and Shaw gets he doesn't get killed or anything, but he gets injured with the stampede of scarabs making their way to the ocean. They get him inside, but Kate starts to hear um the sound, the vibration, the sound again, and we see the clip in the trailer where she's walking, and then Titan X kind of rises up, looking at her. There is something there, and I do hope they explain what that is. They have to explain it because it feels like a maybe not a Jira situation, but there seems to be some kind of connection going on between Kate and Titan X. There has to be like you have there's got to be some kind of explanation on why that's happening because it definitely does not look aggressive towards Kate whatsoever. It looks very much in tune with her, and then as the Apex drone comes around and shoots the transmitter onto it hits a tentacle. I don't know where they're trying to aim at, but it hits a tentacle, um, and then it immediately causes Titan X to go into like this frenzy, which affects Kate too. And so there has to be some kind of psychic link or something happening right there between them. Horatio is able to run and get Kate out of harm's way, which it was actually very interesting because the scarabs chew off the tentacle that the transmitter was attached to. Meanwhile, Core is telling them she needed more time. There's too many neurons. The system can't handle all that. It's going to crash. The whole system is going to crash. And so they basically call for an evacuation because Tynex is going to come on a rampage at them. And so, um, um, so one of the tentacles for Apex gets chewed off, goes flaying across, smashing some of the ruined village buildings, and the Titan X destroys several of the Apex facilities before making its way back into the water. Monarch does arrive. I forgot his name. We've seen him before, but the guy who was on the Monarch ship with Tim, talking about how he was, you know, beefing up security. It looks like he probably has a second agenda, but I was actually really surprised that Horishi dies in this episode. I was actually really surprised that they did that. Um, it's crazy too because we get the conversation between Keiko and Hiroshi talking about like if she wasn't so reckless and because she talked about how both Lee and Bill tried to convince her not to go down into the rift, and she did. If she had not done that, if she had listened, she would have been able to spend a lot more time with uh Hiroshi to where he would not have felt like he was alone or anything like that. So yeah, he dies. I was actually really surprised for that to for that sorry about that for that to happen. So both Keiko and Kate sing the song that they all three would know because early in the episode Hiroshi talked about how um Keiko used to sing the song to him when he was younger, and then Hiroshi did it to Kate. So now they all basically sing the same song, and ultimately, yeah, Horatio dies. Tim and Monarch come in, lock everything down. Nobody gets out, and he's there as he watches his friend pass away. And we do get a little clip of them uh, a few years back where it looks like Horatio had just arrived, probably back from Tokyo, and Tim is telling him how a fishing trolley picked up a bag out of the ocean, and it was Bill Randa's stuff, and so and he just leave he heads back, and then we do get a callback to the power plant in Japan from the 2014 Godzilla movie. So we do get that kind of little Easter egg. So yeah, so that is pretty much it for episode 5 review of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. So I believe I saw, because they always put out, let me see if I can grab it real quick, because they always put out what the next episode is about. Let me see if I can grab this, if I can find it real quick. I forgot what it was titled. Where is it at? Here it is. Let's go here. We'll do it this way. So um episode 6, it doesn't have a title, but the basis or the synopsis is Shaw and Suzuki test a Titan phone designed to summon Godzilla, triggering an unforeseen event that puts Shaw in the path of his own past. So we are probably going to get a Godzilla coming up in this next episode. We have 5 episodes left. So we'll see how things shape out. But guys, that is basically it. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. If you are new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button, comment below. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all have a good one.